Hey everybody, it's Greg Rice. We're here in the Bucket, Pawtucket, Rhode Island. And today we're going to talk about the proposed ordinance in Providence to limit and restrict the amount of college students that could be under one roof. Now, there currently is an ordinance in place that prohibits more than 3 college students living in a single family home, but it does not cover multifamily homes. So Councilwoman Helen Anthony would extend the restrictions to units in multifamily homes. Now, if you know the Huxley, Eaton Street area, for example, a lot of PC students, a lot of JWU students. Most of these properties are 3 stories with 3 bedrooms on each floor. So there's 9 total bedrooms. Now, typically, those all get rented to college students. And that's the crux of the issue for Helen Anthony. She believes that this is contributing to the lack of housing. This is why we have a lack of housing. So proposal would say, okay, 1 floor can be rented to students. The other 2 have to be rented to market rate tenants, Section 8 tenants, any other type of tenant. I used to live over here. I used to live right off of Huxley, a dead-end street actually. It was a single family home, me and 2 buddies, 3 of us. And what we would do is we would go down into Pinehurst, Eaton, that area. And it was all dense, parties, college, that whole area. Now, the problem with that, obviously, is that there's parties, there's garbage, there's fights, there's accidents, there's everything. And that's what you get with college, okay? We all know that. Most of us did that. And what this is attempting to do is diffuse that, which it's a good-hearted thought. It's a good-natured thought. But there's too many flaws, in my opinion, for this to be effective. The first flaw, the biggest one that glares out to me, is that students would move, okay, in theory, to satisfy this requirement to other areas in the city. So now, not only do you have college students here, but you're going to have college students here in this part of the city, and then in this part of the city. Okay, they're going to spread out, if you will, to not exceed that 3 student per roof cap. So instead of that area being policed and monitored and known, okay, this hub is JWU and PC. We got it under control. We know what to expect. We know how to manage it. Now we're just taking that and throwing that across the whole city and saying to our police force, to our neighborhoods, to our communities, we're saying, now you have to figure out how to manage college students in your neck of the woods. So instead of having it hyper-localized and dense and almost within perimeters, now we're just throwing it out to the whole city. And that's going to throw a big monkey wrench in the way that everybody lives, parking, noise complaints, crime statistic will change. All of this, demographic is going to alter the ways and the comings and goings in all of these other areas, because the college students have never been forced to relocate. This is a forced relocation. So secondly, does this really solve a housing crisis problem, right? Does this really dig into the meats and bones of why there's a housing crisis? And in my opinion, we do not have a housing crisis. We have a population crisis. That is the problem. We have more butts than seats, right? Everybody wants to have a seat, but there's too many butts and not enough seats. Simply put, in my opinion, and I've been doing this for 10 years, okay, relocating people into and from homes. That's what we do. We manage that process day in and day out. And the problem is not students. The problem is not, professionals. It's not Section 8. It's not any specific type of person or group. It is a problem of we have too many people that are in an area. And we can't build houses as quick as it is to move somewhere, right? 1,000 people fly here tomorrow and need a place to live. We can't build 1,000 units. That's going to take us 10 years to catch up with that. So to me, the housing crisis is a good thing for a variety of reasons. It's good for housing prices. It's good for rental amounts. It's good for economy. It's good for growth of all types. Yes, it creates struggles. People can't find a place to live. They can't afford the place they live. They don't like the place they live. So what? Okay, that's life. There's a lot of things that I don't like and a lot of things you don't like. It creates a healthy competition. So if you can't find a place to live here, go somewhere else. I don't think we should be readjusting framework like this to say, oh, college students, beat it. The lowest hanging fruit. Yeah, you guys and gals gotta go. That's what this says to me. This is saying like, oh yeah, what group of people can we pick on? And college students, the last time I checked, are not protected. Okay, they're not a specific class, right, that you can claim discrimination against. So I remember a few years back talking to an attorney, and a property owner wanted to deny college students for being college students. And I said, I don't think we can do that. So I asked the attorney, and he goes, Greg, well, technically, they're not a protected class. It's not like they're disabled. You're not discriminating based on their familial status, anything of that nature. You can say, you're college students, we do not accept college students. So I feel like this is also going in that direction. They see that that is a gray area, the councilwoman, to potentially say, hey, you guys got to go, you're not protected, you're causing problems, you're contributing to the housing crisis. Okay. On top of that, any successful city across the globe is heavily reliant upon the college and university community for their economy, for their growth, for jobs, for all of these things. Colleges and universities are the nucleus of all nucleuses for that, for success, for growth, for money. So the fact that we're slapping the community, the college and university community in the face with this doesn't appreciate what they're doing for our community, what they're doing for our state, right? We have so many different types of schools in Rhode Island that bring in such a diverse crowd that makes us all better. It makes the community better. It makes everything better when you have that wheel churning. When you don't have any colleges, think about places that don't have colleges. Think of a rural Midwest town, for example, all by itself, relies on one factory or one major employer. It's very steady. There's limited opportunity. There's limited growth. There's limited job offerings. There's limited everything. So when you have students, you need to embrace them. You need to appreciate them and what they represent for the big picture. What colleges and universities do to Rhode Island as a whole. And you could say, oh, well, some of them don't pay taxes. In my opinion, they bring a lot of value to the table. And just like a developer receiving a tax treaty for developing an underutilized property, I see that universities are bringing in all of these students, all of this, expendable money, all of these workers for you to hire. They deserve an incentive. In my opinion, overall, this is a quote, I'm quoting here, a good way to spark conversation about a new path forward. Definitely going to spark a conversation, but it is not the answer. And it is not the answer many times over. This would affect close to 30,000 dwellings in the Providence area. So say it does get passed, right? How are we going to enforce that? And how much are we going to spend to enforce that? And can we enforce that? Right? We're dealing with inspectors from Providence, and it's tough to get an appointment for maintenance issues, right? Peeling paint, lead certificates. We're 2, 3, 4 weeks out trying to get them in there to verify things. That's a struggle. That's inefficient. Now we're gonna task them with more job duties, or would this be a separate department? Student housing police, like, is this a good spending of resources? So I can go on and on about this, but coming from a housing professional, this is just something that doesn't make sense for a variety of reasons and would hurt the landlord community, right? Landlords are paying a lot of taxes, right? A lot of properties are getting renovated, repaired, revitalized because of landlords. So we're gonna slap 30,000 of those landlords in the face and tell them, oh, you can't pick these people, you can't have more than that people. We should be appreciative of our landlords on top of this. Okay, so again, I go on and on, this is a pretty long one, but just want to hammer the point home. If you have any questions, any feedback, write in the comment field below, we'll get right back to you. Once again, Greg Rice here in the bucket, your property and your amount of tenants managed.